So good day everyone, I am Eliza Faith Kababan and our first topic would be Taoism. But before we delve into my topic, I will be talking about Lao Tzu. Now, who is Lao Tzu? Are you familiar with it? Actually, Lao Tzu, also known as Lao Tzu, was a famous Chinese thinker and the founder of Taoism. He lived around the 6th century before the Common Era, and actually he worked as a government official in the Zhou dynasty, keeping records in the royal court. Actually, nagid siya position in the government which he keeps records in the royal court. And that position is really important back then. According to legend, Lao Tzu left his job because he was disappointed with the corruption in society. As he traveled west, a guard or night guard at the border asked him to write down his teachings before leaving. Lao Tzu agreed and wrote a small but powerful book called the Tao Te Ching. This book became the foundation of Taoism. And also, this book contains deep teachings about living in harmony with nature, finding balance and following the way or Tao. His words were simple but full of wisdom, and they become the foundation of Taoism, a philosophy and religion that continues to guide many people even today. Because even though the words are simple yet gentle, their meaning is deep and powerful. So actually, this really gives comfort to people. And these teachings have inspired and guided many people for many centuries to continue to influence how people think, live, and find inner peace in today's generation. So guys, now that you have a bit background of his life, what is Taoism? Basically, Taoism is a Chinese philosophy and a religion that teaches living in harmony with the Tao. The Tao meaning the way, which is the natural order of the universe. It values simplicity, balance, humility, and going with the flow of life instead of forcing things. It emphasizes that we should not force things and just go with the flow. So actually, here in Taoism, we don't force things such as broken relationships. We let the decision of the other person respect and let things flow in a natural way. Actually, in Taoism, it teaches a person to flow with life. Over the years, Taoism has become many things to many people. So hundreds of variations in Taoist practice exist. So actually, ihang teaching still practice, especially in China. So some of these practices are philosophical or religious. So guys, let's hop on the first core principles of Taoism, which is Wu Wei. Actually, Wu Wei is also called effortless action, meaning in Taoism, they are in harmony with the natural flow of life without forcing or controlling everything. So, instead of stressing and cramming the night before a test, you study a little each day. You flow with the schedule, so learning feels natural and not forced. Kay, if we cram, it would be really hard for us to study directly. Kay, dili bigay na masud sa tong utok. That is why having time management is really important to avoid pressure. So, in connecting it with teaching, a teacher needs to support their students and not pressure them. Instead, they can guide learning naturally, letting their students discover their own knowledge at their own pace, because in this part, they will create a more positive classroom environment. And that would be all. Thank you. I hope you learned about one of the teachings of Wu Wei. So I will pass the stage to Miss Karen Veraces so you can learn more about the other principles of Taoism, which is yin and yang and simplicity and humility. Bye!
Okay. Okay, so thank you so much, Miss Eliza. Now let's proceed to the next principle of the wisdom philosophy, the yin and yang. So, a common misconception of yin and yang is that these two are enemies or these two are against each other. But the truth is, they are actually working together to create harmony and balance. So, yin and yang is an important reminder to us that life also needs balance. Light and dark, calm and active, and anything or everything has its place. So, next, yin, the dark, passive, and feminine principle. So, I want you to imagine the moon. What can you think when you heard the word moon? So, if we heard if we hear about the word moon or moon is that it is calm, peaceful, quiet, and such. So, yin is also like the moon. It is connected to rest, reflection, and softness. So, if stressed, it is believed that you need the yin energy. So, now the yang. Yang is the bright, active, and masculine principle. So it's like the opposite of the yin. So earlier, I asked you to imagine the moon. Now I want you to imagine the sun. What can you think when you hear the word sun? Okay, so sun is, as we all know, is bright, full of energy and movement, opposite to the moon, which was more calm, more peaceful. So, yang is also like that, like the sun. Yang is connected to action, strength, and activity. So, a while ago, I said that if you are stressed, it is believed that you need yin energy. But if your yin energy is too much, or you might get too lazy. But if your yang energy also is too much, then you might get too aggressive. That is why these two go hand in hand to form or create balance. Okay, so understood? Okay, next. Yin and yang are not opposing, just like what I said, but are in a constant, harmonious flow with each containing a seed of the other. So, what's nice is that yin and yang are not fighting against each other. They're always flowing together. Each one has a little bit seed of the other inside. So, that's why there's always potential for change, like the day eventually becomes night, and night eventually becomes day, and again. So life is always moving, always flowing. Next, and the last principle of the wisdom philosophy is the simplicity and humility. So Taoism teaches us to live a simple, honest, and humble life. So, not a complicated life. So, it is a reminder for us to be honest, be kind, and stay connected with nature. This helps us stay in balance just like yin and yang. So, the next reporter, so the next reporter would be Miss Danessa. She will be discussing about the Zen Buddhism.
So, good day everyone. I'm Danessa Iria Capuno, and today I will discuss about Zen Buddhism. So, what is Zen Buddhism? Di ba in the previous group, nag-discuss man to sila about Buddhism nga kanang specifically gina-practice sa ubang countries like Sri Lanka, Myanmar, and maybe India. But today, I will discuss the Buddhism nga gina-practice specifically sa Japan, which is called Zen Buddhism. So, Zen Buddhism is a school of Buddhism that focuses on meditation and direct experience. It values simplicity, mindfulness, and seeing one's true nature. So, Zen Buddhism is naka-focus gid siya sa kanang direct experience sa kanang mga tao. Ang ganahan gid siya nga kanang ang mga tao is mag-explore og ilaha. Makaganahan sila nga ang mga tao is kanang maka-gain of knowledge through their experiences and kanang mga kanang events nga ilahang gina-explore. So the core principles of Zen Buddhism or Zazen, which is meditation, mindfulness, simplicity, and non-attachment. Zazen is the central practice of Zen. It means seated meditation. It helps quiet the mind and lead to direct insight. So seated meditation means from the root word seated, meaning kanang ang participant is ang lingkod siya and then mag-meditate. And this helps quiet the mind and leads to direct insight. Some of us kay gina-practice din ni sila kas we believe nga kanang makatabang ni siya para ma-improve bitaw ato ang way of thinking, mas kanang dali ta ka maka-focus and ma-reduce ang kanang atong anxiety or kanang depression. And this is proven na gyud nga makatabang gyud siya sa ato ang daily life. And mindfulness. Zen teaches being fully present in everyday activities. For example, every morning magkuan ka, mag-jogging or hiking. Instead nga maghuna-una kag lain like imuhang watunon or imong mga problema. Ganahan ning Zen Buddhism nga i-focus nimo imuhang ang mind sa imuhang buhat, like present bitaw in a present moment ang imuhang huna-huna. Simplicity and non-attachment. Zen values a simple life free from excess and distraction. It teaches letting go of desires to find peace and clarity. Diba, kabantay mo anang sa Japanese household, diba, makita na nato like sa kanang anime or mga movies na ang ilahang bay is minimalist bitaw kaayo, like wala kay makita nga mga butang nga kay baw ka nga dili na nila magamit. Instead puro gid ka nang magamit. Unya ang colors food is dili bitaw like vibrant jud kay istanan. Maon na siya kay nega-practice man sila og kana ang simplicity and non-attachment. Mao wala kay sila mga unnecessary yun nga butang nga gi-display sa ilaha to avoid attachment. Kasi gina-practice nila ang letting go of desires to find peace and clarity. So, what are the influences of Zen shape Japanese culture through art, Zen shape Japanese culture through art, garden. So, sa Japanese culture, diba makita na itong art. Naagid sa Japanese culture, diba makita na style sa art. Naagid sila, and then ilahang sila o style sa art. And then, bisan lang o kanang pat-pat bisan lang o kanang pat-pat haiku or kanang sa poet na sila style sa poet. And then sa martial arts style sa poet. And then sa martial arts or gina-practice nga jiu-jitsu or
today,
Aikido,
Zen inspires mindfulness and meditation
Zen
practices
inspires
worldwide.
mindfulness
Kaning
and
mindfulness and
meditation
meditation
practices
is
worldwide.
kaning mindfulness and meditation is
Across the world,
nag-practice ani.
So that would
Across
be all.
the world, Jude.
And I hope you've learned something from this discussion.
And I hope
The
you've
next
learned
reporter
something
would
from
be
this
Izzy
discussion.
Montecillo.
The next
She will
reporter would
be
be discussing
discussing
about
she will
the
be
examples of
discussing
Zen Buddhism.
about the examples of Zen Buddhism.
So good day everyone. I'll be talking about the Zen Buddhism examples and explaining what each of them means. So first example is Zazen. Zazen means seated meditation, and it is the main practice in Zen Buddhism. For example, practitioners sit in silence, usually with crossed legs and straight posture, focusing on their breathing. The purpose of Zazen is to calm the mind and become aware of the present moment. Through this, a person can develop mindfulness and inner peace. So next example is koans. Koans is the short riddles or questions used by Zen teachers to challenge students' way of thinking. For example, what is the sound of one hand clapping? The goal is not to find the right answer, but to open the mind and see reality beyond ordinary thinking. So the last example is the mindful daily activities. So in Zen Buddhism, everyday action like eating, walking, or cleaning can also be forms of meditation. The key is to do each activity with full attention and presence. This teaches that mindfulness should not only happen during meditation, but in all moments of life. In summary, these examples, koans, zazen, and mindful daily activities show that Zen Buddhism is not just about beliefs, but about living each moment with awareness, simplicity, and peace. The next reporter will be Miss Diane Avila.
Thank you, Ms. Izzy, for explaining us the examples of Zen Buddhism. And again, good day everyone. I am Dayan Jane Avila, and I will be discussing about the Christian philosophy. So when you hear the words Christian philosophy or the word Christian, what comes in your mind, man? Okay, let me guess. Is it the beliefs of God? Or those people who follow the rules of God? Okay, let's find out. And kuyugi ko ninyo. Ayoko niyong biyahe ha. So just listen to me guys and I will be explaining the Christian philosophy. So, Christian philosophy focuses on ideas and beliefs based on the teachings of Christianity. It gives us direction on how we should live, treat others, and make decisions according to God's will. So in simpler terms, the Christian philosophy are those beliefs in Christian na gi-integrate nila into teaching. So in the teaching profession, this means that education is not just about academics, but it's also about forming the mind, the heart, and the soul of every learner. So, as of future teachers, we are called to guide our students not only to become knowledgeable individuals, but also to become good, moral, and compassionate persons, just as God wants us to be. So, that is the meaning of Christian philosophy. So, now let's move on to the application and teachings of Christian philosophy. So the first one is we must teach our students with values such as honesty, respect, and kindness. So these values should always be part of our classroom. So for example, na ay quiz or exam. So you can remind your students nga be honest and also remind them nga be respectful anytime if maka-interact sila og mga tao. The second one is the teacher as a role model. So basically, we already know it because as a future teachers, we need to become a role model to them. And in Christian philosophy, teachers must not only teach but also live it by example. Just what I said earlier. Now we need to set a good example for them. We must show patience, fairness, and compassion So those, especially to those students na nag-struggle. So by through our through our actions, students can see the love and the character of Christ. Third one is we must integrate faith and prayer in our class. We can start our day with a short prayer reflection to remind our students to be thankful and guided by God in everything they do. The fourth one is we must promote love for service. This means teaching our students to help others, participate in community activities, and use their talents to serve others, just as Jesus served people with love and humility. So lastly, we must respect the dignity of each student. So Christian philosophy teaches us that all people are made in the image of God. So as teachers, we should treat the learner equally, regardless of their background, their behavior, or their abilities. In short, Christian philosophy reminds us that teaching is not just a profession, but it is a vocation guided by God. It challenges us to teach with love, serve with humility, and always put Christ at the center of education. And I hope everyone understand my topic or understand the Christian philosophy. But if you have any questions, you can ask me through the GC or you can PM to me so that I will answer your question. And now let me give the spotlight to one and only Ryan so that he will share the more examples about this topic. And thank you for listening, everyone. Ryan?
Now, let's explore the practical examples of Christian philosophy of education. Number 1. Integrating scripture across subjects. This is the most common and vital application. Unlike models that separate Bible class from academics, the Christian philosophy insists all subjects teach God's truth. Those who attended Christian school might relate to this. In science, instead of just teaching the mechanics of the natural world, lessons explore design and order. A unit on DNA or the solar system is used to discuss the complexity and intelligence of the Creator, reinforcing the doctrine of creation. In literature, teachers guide discussions on concepts like redemption, consequence, and justice as they relate to Christian theology. In history, history is taught as his story, the narrative of God's providence and human choices. Events like the reformation of the civil rights movement are studied through the lens of sin, justice, and biblical change. Example number 2. Discipline as discipleship. The Christian philosophy transforms classroom management from simple rule enforcement into discipleship. The focus shifts merely punishing bad behavior to restoring relationships and teaching self-control rooted in character. Example situation. When a student makes a mistake like arguing or cheating, the discipline process focuses on repentance and forgiveness rather than simple isolation. Another is teacher address the heart issue behind the behavior. For instance, instead of just penalizing a student for laziness, the teacher addresses the root of the problem, perhaps a lack of responsibility or fear of failure, using biblical principles like diligence and faithfulness. The teacher's role in a Christian school is a third critical example. They are hard not just for their expertise, but for their faith and character. The teacher acts as a spiritual mentor. They pray with students, share personal testimonies of grace, and offer emotional support that extends beyond academic help. When a teacher makes a mistake, they model humility by confessing it to the class, demonstrating that being a Christian does not mean being perfect, but relying on the grace and forgiveness. Finally, the school culture is actively geared toward service and vocation. The goal is for students to see their future careers as a calling, not just a job. Ngunang most Christian schools require community service hours to teach humility, empathy, and the importance of helping others. They also integrate career days or mentorship program, often highlight professionals who integrate their faith into their work, showing students how to be Christian engineers, nurses, or artists. These examples show that this philosophy is truly holistic, producing graduates who are not only intellectually competent but also spiritually grounded, and prepared to engage the world with wisdom and ethical conviction. This philosophy isn't just a mission statement, it's a living blueprint for curriculum and classroom culture. So before ending my discussion, I will leave you all a Bible verse. Colossians chapter 3 verse 16. Let the word of Christ dwell in you richly as you teach. Next up is Miss Melanie Salogaon, who will sum up our report.
So, hello everyone. My name is Melanie Salgaol. I will be your last reporter for today. And I will only discuss about the summary of our topic, which is the Eastern philosophies. So, there are three parts of Eastern philosophies, which are the Taoism, the Zen Buddhism, and lastly is the Christian philosophy. So, first is the Taoism rather. So Taoism has three core principles, which are the Wu Wei, the Yin and Yang, and lastly is the simplicity and humility. So first, I will tell you a brief story about Lao Tzu. Lao Tzu or Lao Tzu is a Chinese famous thinker and also the founder of the Taoism. He lived around the 6th century BCE. And he was also a government official in the Zhou dynasty, keeping records in the royal court. So according to the legend, Lao Tzu or Lao Tzu left his job because of the disappointment of the corruption in the society. So he traveled to East using the buffalo animal. So we all know what is buffalo, right? So muna yung gigamit padulong travel sa west. As he traveled to the west border of the Chinese Empire, there is one official. He told Lao Tzu to write his teachings before leaving. So mo to nga nag-write si Lao Tzu sa iyahang teaching, so which is the Taoism. So okay, he agreed. So he created a small book. So the book is entitled Lao Ti Cheng. So Lao Ti Cheng is it is just a small book but a powerful one. So mo na siya ang kanang so he was the one, or he was called as the founder of the Taoism because of his book and his teachings. Mo to nga gi-recognize siya as a founder. So the Lao Teaching book becomes the foundation of the Taoism. So many authors embezzled the Lao Teaching book. They were also inspired by Lao Tzu because of his book. So that's the end of the short story. And now let's proceed with the core principles. First is the Wu Wei. So Wu Wei is a non-action or effortless action. It means nga we shouldn't force things and we must go with the flow just like the water. So the next one is the Yin and Yang, which means the Yin is the dark, passive, and masculine principle. And the Yang, which means the active and the bright, feminine principle. Then the last one is the simplicity and humility, meaning we must live our life in a harmonic way with nature. And that's all for Taoism. Next, let's continue to the Zen Buddhism. So Zen Buddhism focuses on the meditation and also direct experience. So it values simplicity, mindfulness, and calling one's true nature. So the first one is the Zazen or the meditation. It helps you to refresh your mind, to have yourself a peace of mind, away from stress, away from chaos, away from all the problems that you feel. So this Zazen or the seated meditation helps you to be more, to have a peaceful mind. And the next one is the mindfulness. So being mindful is also the key to Zen Buddhism. So mindfulness, it helps you to be fully present in the daily activities in our life. And lastly is the simplicity and non-attachment. Zen Buddhism values simplicity and to have a better harmonic life. Harmonic life or simple life that exists from all the distractions rather. So it teach us of letting go of the desire to have a peaceful and simple life. So we can be more engaging to ourselves. So it is kanang helpful good nga kanang natay nana nga kanang mindset nga ma-apply na siya nato in our daily life kay maka-benefit man sad ta. Okay, moving on. So additionally, Zen Buddhism shape the Japanese form, such as the martial arts, the artistry, and also many more. But today, Zen is also applicable in our daily life, especially when it comes to mindfulness and also the meditation, away from all the negativity that we think or that we experience. Christian philosophy is our last topic. So Christian philosophy is all about the fundamental questions. Like for example, is about the existence, meaning, and also morality in our Christian belief. Integrating faith with reason. So it seeks to understand how biblical teach us in our daily life. Like, diba, as we all know nga naman sa Bible ng mga verses. So, like, dira, palang part, as magamit na siya, nga ma-apply na siya sa tuwang daily life. And also, we can gain knowledge through it. Through the Bibles, we all learn kung unsa nahitabo ang God, kung unsa ang mga teachings ni God, kung unsa kamayang Ginoo. Am I right? Yes, of course, na siya sa Bible. And the next one is an example of the Christian philosophy, like imuhang Christian beliefs. Like for example, why is lying wrong? So many philosopher nga nag-ingon nga lying is wrong. It is unethical behavior. That's because lying is not applicable in our life. You shouldn't lie, right? Miskan like kanang nobody's perfect man, diba? So we all know nga kitang tanan is na liar man kitang tanan, dili man siya na malikiyan. But I hope nga dili na nato siya padayon ng kanang pag-lie. Kay it is unethical. It is bad. So naano siya sa Bible ang kanang dili dapat mag-lie. Like for example of the verse Exodus chapter 20 verse 16, you shall not bear false witness rather to your neighbors. So it is a bad habit. Why? Like dili sa tanan nga pamaagi nga kanang mag-lie na lang jud ka perme. Like for example, mag-false accusations ka sa imuhang neighbors. It is a lie. Like, dili jud dapat. Like, for example, in our daily life nga magmarites, like, dili maayo. And dili maka-benefit sa uban nga tao. So, we must avoid all of that. Because lying is unethical and it is not the way nga like, ipalaban na to ang pag-lie just to save ourselves. But instead, kanang lie is dapat lang nga as soon as possible ma-avoid na to na siya or ma-minimize lang, bahala na kay nga lie man gyud kay dili man jud na malikayan. So yes, that's all. So in short, Christian philosophy lies on the grounds of ethical, metaphysical, and epistemological beliefs nga naglies in the truth that God is the source above all, through goodness, through realities, and also He holds the power for all of us. So, I hope nga kanang this lesson, I hope that this lesson teaches you some of the important behaviors in our daily life, especially the Christian philosophy. We must not avoid God. Kay ba na mo karon nga daghan og nay mga disaster nga dili na to nga inevitable. So it is important nga kanang musik ta kang God, musik ta og help kang God. Let us all pray for the better of our world or our country. Because calamities are inevitable. So I hope everyone nga namoy na na-learn nga knowledge sa amo ang report. Even though it is only an online report, but I hope nga namoy na-learn nga knowledge again. So, thank you everyone, and goodbye. Keep safe. Love lots.